I got a curveball for you. So there's litigation, and I encourage anyone watching this who thinks that this is all bunk to read the litigation. This is not a question of conspiracy theories. This is a question of government officials changing the law in a way they weren't allowed to under the law. And so there were votes counted that shouldn't have been counted, just the way that votes that come in 3 weeks late aren't counted because the law doesn't allow them to come in. But let's say that you're in court and you're up at the Supreme Court and you say, look, the relief we need here so that we can get a full accounting and adjudication is that the deadline of January 6th needs to be delayed. We've got this January 20th date, but so we've got a little wiggle room, and so we need more time for the courts to consider this. Is that, you think that's a doable? You think it's reasonable to ask that?
Well, we will have a firm decision on January the 6th, perhaps the wee hours of January the 7th. And that will be what the losing side can contest to the Supreme Court or elsewhere. But what the standard is, majority of 435 or majority of the state delegations, that to me is a rather simple issue for the courts to adjudicate. There aren't a whole lot of facts involved, and the court's ultimate decision would determine which side wins.
Well, I guess my question was, is there a possibility the court could come in and say, look, we're still adjudicating this. Congress has got to wait a few days before they meet and consider the votes?
Well, you could do that if you wanted to bring litigation before January the 6th and try to get some kind of temporary restraining order, preliminary injunction, what have you, to delay the January the 6th meeting. But I don't suspect the courts would intervene at that point. I think you're looking at some kind of redress after the fact, after the Congress has already acted, where the Supreme Court would determine, well, who won and who lost.
Right. So what's your thinking on, so I'm hearing there's a possibility or folks close to this issue are thinking that there is still a possibility the states take action to reverse out, the state legislatures take action to reverse out some of the electoral slates for Biden and replace them or put a competing slate for Trump, which would really change what we're talking about here, because then it would be just potentially just a straightforward Trump victory in January 6th.
That is very much a possibility, but only if you have the state legislatures of, say, Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, what have you, deciding to act and act promptly on behalf of their country in this battle between socialism and free enterprise, liberty and freedom on the one hand, and a corrupt and corrupted election system versus honest and accurate elections on the other hand. To date, you've seen a lot of legislators in those 4 states who also are ducking and running rather than standing brave and true and fighting for our country. I hope that they will come forward. Arizona seems the most likely to do so. I'm very surprised and somewhat disappointed that none of these legislatures have seen how bad this voter fraud problem is, this election theft problem is, and intervened already. And so I'm a little bit disheartened that they haven't acted already. And the fact that they haven't acted already suggests to me that they're unlikely to do so, that they really don't want to become involved at this critical juncture in American history.
I don't want to be whistling past the graveyard here, because as we're a C3 congressman, so we're not taking a position as to who should win because of policy, but we are concerned that the laws aren't being followed here. But I see the Biden people kind of being are nervous about this. The left doesn't like what's happening. I think they recognize their hold on power is tenuous. And that's why they are frankly relatively quiet about this. Maybe they just think by being quiet, they hope everyone will ignore it.
There are some of them have been.
And I don't think it doesn't presume. I guess I'm just used to President Trump, who's boldly talks about debates. Maybe am I being too? Do they think they have it in the bag, or are they nervous, you think?
In my judgment, the Senate and House Democrats believe they have it in the bag because we have so many weak senators and congressmen who are unwilling to be brave, who have not done their homework, studied the issues, studied the underlying facts. It's like they want to be spoon-fed instead of conducting their own investigation about the problems with this election. And under the Constitution, with Congress having the ultimate responsibility, we're the ones who are supposed to be uncovering the evidence. We're not supposed to be waiting for someone to spoon feed us. And as long as you've got a significant number of Republicans, both in the House and the Senate, that have been unwilling to be brave and stand tall in defense of our election system and in defense of our republic, then there's no reason for the Democrats to be overly concerned. If the Republicans can't come together on stopping voter fraud and election theft, why would the Democrats worry about us stopping them from doing that now or in the future?
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.